Committee's stricter guidelines for evidence handling people realized how one and so are ours lab tech and a few crooked cops could ruin a man's life. Steve sat in multiple official depositions, reliving the ordeal for boards of inquiry. The final official exoneration arrived in the form of a judge's ruling that vacated the conviction and recognized wrongdoing. The judge, Vo Solemn, said, "No one can repay you for the injustice, Mr. Callahan, but let this clear your name." Lisa watched from the gallery wearing a small, hopeful smile, for freedom tasted sweet, yet disorienting. Steve found it odd to slip back into routine tasks like grocery shopping, without fearing stares from strangers for a time. The captain offered to reinstate him as a detective, but the betrayal left him hesitant. He turned it down, deciding to step away from the formal structure at least for a while. Lisa was thrilled to have her father truly home. No bars, no looming threat. She insisted on more father-daughter time they visited. An AM Mammoth Park laughed on roller coasters. Their bond, tested by trauma, felt unbreakable. He found joy in simple fatherly duties, helping with her homework, listening to her talk about school drama, cooking dinner together. He also found a new calling to use his investigative skills. Independently, Kate encouraged him, saying there were plenty of people who might need a private investigator who wouldn't bend to corruption. They joked about forming a detective-journalist duo to tackle small-time corruption or wrong citizens. Even Aiden was supportive, though he remained in the force to help rebuild trust. So Callahan Investigations took shape, operating out of a modest office above a bakery. The place smelled perpetually of fresh bread. Clients trickled in slowly, many of them folks who had exhausted official channels or feared crooked cops. Steve took each case with care, empathizing with their suspicion of the system. Some cases were routine cheating, spouses, missing persons. Others hinted at deeper conspiracies. He tackled them all, employing that thoroughness that once made him a top detective throughout all this. Lisa was never far from his mind. She was still only 12, on the cusp of adolescence, dealing with nightmares. From the kidnapping attempt, she sometimes woke crying, remembering how men had threatened her in her own home. Steve would hold her, reassure her that those men were behind bars, that the city was safer now. She'd nod, comforted, but the emotional scars lingered gradually. Therapy sessions and the warmth of her father's presence helped her move forward. She also found new strength. She joined a self-defense class at the local youth center, determined never to feel powerless again. Steve watched her practice, a bittersweet pride filling him. She was learning resilience, something he'd wanted to protect her from having to learn so soon. But life had forced them both to adapt one day while rummaging through old boxes in his closet. Steve found the uniform shirt he wore the night he was arrested, still stained with the memory of that fiasco. He paused, running a finger over the fabric. It served as a stark reminder that truth can be twisted when powerful men decide to manipulate the system. He decided to keep the shirt folding it carefully. Part of him wanted to burn it in anger, but another part recognized it as a symbol of how quickly one can go from a respected officer to a despised convict instead. He locked it away, telling himself that it was important never to forget the lesson, though. Exonerated daily life brought minor hurdles. Some people still eyed him with suspicion, as if uncertain. Others recognized him from the news, lauded him for perseverance. He found it draining at times, but each evening he returned to a stable home. Lisa's chatter about her day, the knowledge that he was free to stand in his own kitchen making dinner. He'd occasionally sit on the front steps, gazing at the sky, recalling the claustrophobic prison nights. Now the air smelled of grass and city lights. Not the stale gloom of a cell, the smallest. Pleasures felt immense. The taste of coffee in the morning, the warm duvet at night. Freedom wasn't an abstract concept anymore, it was everything. Meanwhile, Aiden's internal police probe revealed more names in the corrupt ring, court after court, saw bribed officials compromised lab, techs indicted one by one. Victor Langdale, facing trial, tried to cut deals, pointing fingers at subordinates. The entire scandal implicated city council members, private security firms, and even a Judge Cates' articles hammered the story relentlessly, praising the unstoppable synergy of an honorable detective, a dogged journalist, and a loyal police friend. She took pains to highlight Lisa's role, how a daughter's cry for help spur a father to risk everything. The public ate it up. Some cynics said it was too dramatic, but the facts lined up the tears in Lisa's eyes during a short TV interview made it all heartbreakingly real. Eventually, the mother's stance softened entirely. She recognized